Alright, this is my Iron Man 3 video. Spoilers, obviously, about possibly everything. Maybe comics, not so much comics. I haven't read that many. I've read a lot, but not the point. First off, one of my friends told me the volume on the mic was a bit too high and it was a lot like rumbly, so I lowered it to a quarter way. I hope it's better. Real hope it's better. Okay, moving on. Iron Man 3. This is, out of all of the Iron Man movies, this one's probably my favorite one. And I know this was probably like one of the worst MCU movies. And I don't know, I guess because of the Mandarin, because I know a lot of people really wanted to see comic book accurate Mandarin. And hey, so did I. But so sorry, I should burp before. What was it? Yeah, I also wanted to see comic book accurate Mandarin because he's, once again, I haven't read enough comics, but from what I hear, he's pretty cool in the comics, and he has these rings that give him power, kind of like Green Lantern, but not really. He only has I think he has 10. Green Lanterns, they're only 9. So that's the difference. Yeah, I thought when I first heard about the movie and first started finding out, I thought it was cool because you have one dude and a bunch of I guess for lack of better terms, robots. They're suits of armors, but if he's only in one, that one's a suit of armor. All the other ones are by default robots. Just so you have one dude and a relatively small army of robots fighting against an army that could easily burn through them. So I thought that was cool, and I'm like, oh, cool. Iron Man finally is finally fighting someone that's actually that doesn't have the same power set that he has, and that actually has an advantage to him. Because I've always felt like actual true organic superpowers can overpower a suit of armor. So I thought that was really interesting. Oh, this is gonna be so cool. How will he pull it off? And then I started watching the movie, and I didn't catch this the first time I saw it. But after a few times of me watching it, I realized there's not a lot of Iron Man in this movie. There's not a lot of him in the suit. It's mostly him trying to figure out, trying to be a hero without the suit of armor. And I was once I figured it out, hey, this is actually really cool. Because people are always his superpower is the suit of armor, but his superpower is really his brain, because dude's smart. Yeah, he's crazy smart. He doesn't need the suit of armor to fight bad guys. It helps a lot, but it doesn't need it. And let's say in Age of Ultron or Infinity War or in Endgame, let's say he didn't have his suits of armor, right? I'm pretty sure he still could have been really useful without his suit of armor. He's smart. He would have figured out a way for him to make himself useful, But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. In the movie, they kind of showed in the beginning how he was kind of not relying on his tech so much, but over the movie, they were oh, he doesn't need his suit of armor. So I thought that was interesting. I thought that was nice, and I need to sneeze. Sorry. The Mandarin was fake. That was a bummer. But I remember I was talking to one of my friends, two of my friends. One of them really doesn't like Iron Man 3, and then the other one kind of liked. I don't remember. I know he said he didn't hate it, but he said it was pretty good. And friend number one was saying that he hated it because of the Mandarin plot twist. The Mandarin was fake and he's a menace, and And friend number two, he was oh, well, I thought it was pretty cool because throughout the first two Iron Man movies, they're kind of showing that the bad guy are corporations. In the first one, it was, I guess it was his own, but it was Obadiah Stane, so it was like a side corporation, And in Iron Man 2, it was Hammer Corporations. It was Hammer Industries. Hammer Industries. There you go. It was Hammer Industries, and now in Iron Man 3, it's AIM. Although it's very different from the comics. But yeah, he was pretty much saying how like he kind of liked how it makes more sense for Iron Man to fight like a corporation instead of like this being with like these rings and powers and stuff like that. And it kind of made more sense that way. And when he said that, I was like, that's actually a really good point that I did not see. But yes, so I thought that was cool. And plus, they did make that Marvel one shot where they made the Mandarin like a real person. And I really hope they're going to elaborate that on Shang-Chi, The Secret of the Ten Rings, which is coming out. I actually haven't updated that list. I think it's May 7th, 2021. That's when Shang-Chi should be coming out, hopefully. I was talking to my mom yesterday, and I was telling her how Black Widow was supposed to come out on this Friday, and then she was like, "Oh, you see, so they're totally going to make Captain America young again, and they're like, however they did that, they're going to bring Black Widow back to life, And I was like, I don't think they're going to do that. And then she was like, "Oh, well, then how is she going to get her own solo movie?" And I didn't have the heart to tell her that it takes place after Civil War. Granted, she hasn't seen Civil War yet. But, okay, Extremisers. Okay, yeah. One thing that I kind of didn't like about this movie, I thought it was great. Once again, not perfect, but I thought it was great. The Iron Patriot armor for quite a few reasons. One, Iron Patriot is a villain in the comics. It's Norman Osborn. He makes his own Iron Man suit, and he goes by the name of Iron Patriot. And I think he even makes the Dark Avengers. So when I saw Iron Patriot, in the promos and in the trailers, I was like, oh my god. Once again, 13. Didn't know anything. I was like, whoa, they're going to bring in Norman Osborn into the MCU or whatever, it's like he's a villain. It's going to be so cool. That's going to be the guy Iron Man fights. Then I saw the movie, and I found out it was James Rhodes, and I was kind of like, that's terrible. And then Age of Ultron, they made a War Machine again, and he's been War Machine ever since, and I was like, okay. Yeah. Phone is super dusty. Oh my god. No one answers the house phone. But where was I? Oh, right. So that was James Rogue, War Machine ever since. But aside from that, during the movie and Iron Man 2 and in this one, I always wondered, does James Rhodes have an AI in the suit? And because you never hear him talking to anyone in the suit, and he the suit does almost everything Iron Man can. So it makes you wonder how the hell does Rhodey control the War Machine suit? Because Peter Parker has an AI in his suit. Granted, he can't fully access it when he gets it, but he manages to unlock Karen halfway into the movie. So it's Rhodey must have some kind of AI, and if not, how the hell does it work? Is it all automated, and how do they control it? And also, does the Iron War Machine, does the Rhodey armor not have any what's it called, right? Fail safe? Because it seems like anybody can access the suit, and I feel that's not very clever, because it makes sense for Rhodey to access the suit, full access, it makes total sense. But the dude Devin, not Devin, that's one of my classmates. One of the extremist soldiers is able to go in the suit and have full control over it, and then later on he puts the president in the suit, but the president can't have any control over it. And then Rhodey ends up meeting up with the president, and Rhodey's able to moderately control the suit from outside of it, and he's able to get the president out. And so it doesn't make any sense. It should have some kind of failsafe. So I never really followed through with that. And also, I kind of wish they followed up some previous storylines from the first two Iron Man movies. And I don't. From the Phase Two movies, I like the Phase Two movie. Well, I like Thor: The Dark World, but I thought the Phase Two movies were pretty good, like Winter Soldier, Iron Man 3, Guardians of the Galaxy. But what I didn't like about them, Guardians doesn't count. But what I didn't like about Iron Man 3, Dark World, and Winter Soldier was that they didn't really like you didn't feel the repercussions from the first Avengers movie. Like you didn't really. I feel like you don't really feel the repercussions until like Phase 3, kind of. I know you really feel it with Homecoming and like a few other movies and Black Panther, sort of. But in Phase 2, you don't really feel the repercussions. Like, oh, aliens came down to New York and they just kind of go back to how everything was normal. It's I really wish they touched up on that. And with Iron Man, I really wish they brought up more of the government wanting his technology, because they didn't touch on that. And I know Rhodey worked for the president, sort of, and so they kind of had like the suit of armor. So they probably could have elaborated more on that. But then again, I feel like I'm not a professional writer, but I feel like it's probably too much to just kind of like juggle around. But just kind of like, I just want to know like the small meaningless stuff, because it makes the world feel much more realistic. But yeah, I really wish they touched up on that more. But I like the movie. Not perfect. Fault, obviously, Mandarin. That was great. Anyways, now on to my mom. The last part. So she likes the movie. She liked the movie a lot. And she's always like, oh, I didn't. She's always telling me that she doesn't like the movie, but it's always because of just like one thing or like two things. But overall, she liked the general movie. But she was telling me how she didn't like the movie because Iron Man blew up all of his suits of armor. Once again, she's only seen Infinity War a year ago, so she kind of forgot about it. But what was she saying? Shoot. Oh yeah. So she didn't like how Iron Man blew up all of his suits of armor for Pepper, because she was like, oh, that's very selfish of her to like kind of want that from Tony, because he's a superhero, and like if he gives that up, all of these villains are like, getting powerful. So she thought that was selfish of Pepper, and she was like, oh, you shouldn't kind of give up being who you are to be with someone. And I was like, well, you kind of have to, so we had like a small conversation. I kind of forgot. This was yesterday, and like, no, was it yesterday? I don't know. This was a few days ago. But yeah, so she didn't like that. And she was like, now how is he going to fight crime, and this and that. And so yeah. And the thing, in the beginning of the movie, she was saying, oh, like, he's turning more like a machine. And I was like, what? And she was like, oh, because he spends more time talking with his machines than he does with actual people. Like Jarvis. Like, she doesn't be her. I forgot how she said it, but she like totally butchered his name. And I know what she was talking about for a moment. And she was like, yeah, like she's like, he's talking with Dummy and Jarvis and like his suits that can't even respond back to him. And I was like, I guess that's kind of true. And then I told her that he just put like a lot of time into building them, and it's like he should put more time into building his relationships with people. And I was like, well, that's probably why he blew them up. It does suck that he blew up the suits. Would have been so cool. Oh yeah, and she thinks Black Widow is coming back. Oh, and while we were watching the movie, she was like, oh, like, I'm very lucky. And I was like, why? And she was like, oh, because like I'm seeing all these movies and they're all out. Like if I want to know the answer to something, I just have to watch the next movie and just easily. But I felt like when they were coming out, you had to wait years. And I was like, yeah, you had to wait like 2-3 years to get like an answer. Because Iron Man 3 came out May 2013. Shang-Chi is coming out May 2021. That's 8 years where you have to wait to find out about the Mandarin. That's so much time. Just, that's a lot. That's a lot of time in between those two movies to get one answer. Like, where is the real Mandarin? So I told her that like, yeah, you have to wait a lot of time and like you have to rewatch these movies when they come out to like put pieces together and stuff like that. And she was like, yeah, I'm very lucky because I can watch these movies like back to back, and if I don't understand anything, you can tell me the answer. And I was like, you are correct. And yeah, I think that is all for today. We're probably going to watch The Dark World today, hopefully. We saw Pretty Woman yesterday because we don't want to watch an MCU movie because, at least for me, I feel like you can only watch these movies like so much before like it becomes overwhelming, you know? Because I've wanted to watch them all back to back, like nonstop, like 3 days. But I thought about it, like I would probably die just out of overwhelmingness, you know? I want to try it though. I want to give it a shot, just one day. Well, at one point, you know, just clear up my schedule for 3 days and just back to back, nonstop. Just log off of everything and watch them all. Hopefully, one can dream. But yeah, stay groovy, everyone. Oh, and same thing, Mike. Let me know. But yeah, stay groovy.